This is going to be another last-minute introspective type of devlog, and unfortunately I've been recording for over 2 hours of rejected takes so far, so my voice is getting a bit hoarse, but I'll do my best to get through it. Part of the problem is, every time I do a big revamp, I don't really know if it's going to work well in practice until it's actually finished and I can playtest it. I don't think there's any substitute for iterating through playtesting to make a good game. I'm looking for ways to make that iteration faster, but that's not what I want to talk about in this video. Today's theme is all about being kinder to myself. I took a couple of weeks off at the beginning of the month because trying to get that last devlog done in time was pretty stressful, and working on the soundtrack wasn't quite the change of pace I was hoping for. But I tend to feel guilty when I take time off, and I've been beating myself up about how far behind I am for a long time. I blame myself for lack of design experience, or lack of motivation, or a variety of other personal failings. But if I think about it, if I had an employee that was falling behind, I wouldn't be chastising them and telling them to work harder. I'd be encouraging them to take time off. I'd be looking for ways to help them. Perhaps they need to move to a different project for a while, or they need someone to help them with a difficult problem. I know these strategies are better for long-term success than pushing through and getting burned out, but for some reason I have a hard time applying them to myself, and that's what I want to get better at. I've also been trying to think about the root cause a bit more, and I think a lot of my struggles come down to a need for novelty. When I run out of steam on a project, it's because it's not novel anymore. And it explains a lot about the scope creep, too. Whatever ideas I have for something to add will always be more exciting than the backlog of necessary tasks. Unfortunately, there's no real way around that. I have to do the boring necessary tasks to finish this game, and I can't just jump to another project now. I think one thing that'll help me a lot in the future is having multiple projects in flight at once. So for example, when I'm working on Cargo Defense again, I'll be able to take breaks from time to time to go back and make updates for Galactic Chef. And those updates will be relatively small, new features that might give me the kind of novelty I'm craving. But I also really want to try the experiment of making prototypes for several game ideas at once, and then I can pick whichever one I'm the most excited for to work on as my next main focus. But I also hope that eventually I'll be able to hire more people to help me with these games, and maybe even have multiple teams doing multiple games concurrently. I'm getting ahead of myself here. There's no point talking about future company structure or anything like that, but thinking about the future does help me feel a little bit better about my struggles of today. Because as long as this project has been dragging on, and as daunting as the backlog is, it won't last forever. With any luck, I'll be making a lot more games after this one, and have many more opportunities to express my unique point of view. Because that's what this is all really about. I think the most special thing about the human experience is that we can express our unique points of view and share them with each other. And I suppose that's kind of the motivation behind these videos too, because this devlog is not selling you Galactic Chef. No one's going to buy Galactic Chef because they heard about how difficult it was to make. But I think a lot of us struggle with similar things, or at least I imagine some of you do, and maybe this is helpful to someone. I guess this is a good time to wrap up this rambling as the rain is getting louder. I hope something in this has been interesting or helpful to somebody. In the meantime, it always helps me out if you hit the like button, spread the word, and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, thanks for watching.